As an artist, how has this experience, how has the journey been for you? And especially when your work is about the transformational element that you're trying to bring, where you're seeing there is an impact on life and environment, and the transformation of the spirit and the matter. What has that journey and experience been like for you? And especially when the work is seen by an audience who has not been part of that process you have gone through.
That's a problem, because actually, when you come to culture, after some time, culture is like sharing thing. And I've been put in a position where the inspiration or the need to create is so strong that I have not even time to look back, not even time to share, not even time to, for example, an exhibition is almost a stopping of the inspiration, and it's not very easy. So I face that, and that's a problem with collectivity if we are not really homogeneous yet. So I believe it will come that one. When Auroville will be really, there will be really a culture which will be unique in the world, and people are going to. For example, I can give an example. It was around 1972 when there was a concert in the ashram of, I forgot the instrument. It's not sitar, it's what?
Sitar.
Oui, sarod, yeah. A concert of sarod. Yeah. And when I was listening to the concert, I didn't hear any note, any music, but I could see a lot of color. So the next day, I started to express what I saw with my means. And after I went around Auroville to see the different artists, and it was really stunning that we were 5 artists. We will have almost the same style without knowing each other. Some were abstract, some were figurative, and yet all used a certain technique of having different points of color in a big white space, and it looked very much like what the mother speak of as the light of the new consciousness, that they are all colors vibrating. So there I thought, that could be the culture. You see, that will be, if we put those 5 artists in one room, we could say this is the school of Pondicherry or the school of Auroville. Unfortunately, that never repeated itself. You see, now we have quite a lot of good artists, but as if each one is digging in his own way. So that's why we are still a little far from that. I wanted to say something else, if I'm not out of the subject. You see, when we speak of perfection, I try also to question myself, but where do we have perfection here? And suddenly I realized, but my God, we are swimming in Chopin's work, in Mother, and it's so perfect, so incredibly perfect. Each line, each phrase, each sentence is perfect. So what can we do? You see, the only thing we can do is to be grateful and as silent as possible, and to receive. So the first thing is to receive. The second thing is to express. And then after comes the collective reception, which is a mystery. Any other question?
Yes. So in the experience that you said, and this is also for me like a personal journey, right? How does one discern a judgment? Judgment.
Yes.
Because one of the things, like say it's been part of the schooling, there is a judgment or an assessment of what needs to be, how it needs to be. And one is where the moment you said, like the aha, where even without knowing, there is an experience of that perfection. The struggle of dropping that judgment or the notion of also perfection or the pursuit of it. How do I put that question? No, it's not an assessment. How does one navigate that journey?
I don't know. Judgment is not a word that I use very often.
No, it's not. I know it's not a used word. I'm coming back from experiences of also. Like I said, like for me, when I was learning art as a child, instead of allowing me to work with the colors and, have my own expression, or like even as a child going to school, there was always a judgment of how it needed to be looking like, right? Like, colors need to be like this has to be the perfect blend, this has to be the perfect shade, there is a way of doing things, this is the way it needs to be done. A lot of that schooling. It is only in the last few years I'm unlearning when I've realized the impact of that. Where I was given a certain perspective of what perfection needs to look like, be like, and the individual expression of it was probably felt at the best guided by that. In present times, I see that, and I could be completely wrong, I see the impact and influence of it as well. And very few and far times to step out of it. And I leave this open to anyone to respond. How does one navigate that in today's time where the influence and impact of that is there? Of course, surrendering to the works and the teachings of Sri Aurobindo and the Mother or any spiritual leanings helps us. But sometimes it seems like a journey of having to fight the life's battles, and then, something happens, and then it seems there is a reversal order of it.
Bon, I was lucky not to have gone to any art school, so I didn't have any influence. And what you put is a very good question. Once you make a painting, you have to see how do you feel. So what I keep saying to everybody is that you have to relate to your experience. You have an experience, and for me, I'm more interested in experience in a very physical. So we have that, how to express that. So you make a painting, and then you look, you try to absorb it physically, and you can feel if it's okay, or what remains to be done. So it's the only judgment, the only reference is the experience, not the outside experience, not the outside influence. And that's very important. And that's the only way to be original, because your experience is unique for you. And then it's like that. Otherwise, you see a lot of art which is the copy, or you say, I have seen that before. It's a copy of this, a copy of... And people, it's very difficult actually to be an artist, you see. It's not... actually, a French artist said the most difficult part in an artist's life is the 99 first years. So you see that there is still a lot of space for improvement, no? So you are constantly in that space of, at the same time there is a joy, there is a presence, a certitude, a gratitude. At the same time you are moving, and so nothing is guaranteed. And you can make a so-called masterpiece, and the next day you make an horrible thing, and it's like that. You see, it's regarding the reception of the audience, that's where we are. I would say Auroville is still a very rural community. You see, we are very far from a collective reception, so it will come.
Sure. Thank you.